Hey y'all, it's your favorite mega church cult survivor, Leah Lauder. I was in a mega church cult for 18 years and now I've turned social justice activist. Anyway, if you haven't checked out part 1, please go and check it out because this is part 2 and we're going to jump straight into it. Anyway, I've developed this fear model that mega church cults use to indoctrinate and keep people trapped in the self-sealing system. So now we're going to jump straight into the fear tactics that they use, y'all. There's also the fear that you'll lose your faith. Do you know what I mean? And this is the biggest one because they do a lot of information control. Like, just stay to the canon. The canon Bible knows is everything that you need. The Apocrypha is evil. It's wicked. It's wicked. You shouldn't be listening to other Christian preachers because our pastor, our bishop, our prophet, our daddy, he has the chosen knowledge and we will be judged more harshly because of the knowledge that has been given to Heward Mills. Do you see how silly that sounds? It's all about a personal relationship, guys. That's what it's really about. God knew you before you were formed in the mother's womb. It says he will never leave nor forsake you. So even if you're out there doing a holy per madness, God's always going to be there or whatever. Do you know what I mean? This is like going on your own. Do you get what I'm trying to say? It's like you growing up, you maturing now in the faith, learning how to spend time with God, building a personal relationship. And then when you're ready, being open to perhaps looking at fellowship. But because they use all of these fear tactics, a lot of psychological control, there's a lot of indoctrination, a lot of severe, heavy indoctrination. You need to give yourself time, your mind, time to deprogram, your body, time to rest. You need to be gentle with yourself. There's also that feeling of being responsible for souls that are going to hell. So they put this big, huge responsibility on you where it's like these souls, you're responsible for their salvation, where they're going to spend eternity, That is the kind of pressure. That is how abusive it is. And then they use these things and twist and manipulate scriptures to keep people to stay. So this is why it's hard for people to leave. Do you know what I mean? Because they're shepherds of ministries. They feel like they're responsible for those souls. Like, for example, I had my whole family in there. My ex-husband, my 2 kids, my blood sister. So for me, it was like this fight in my mind, this turmoil going back and forth. Like, oh my gosh, do you know what I mean? Like, I'm going to be responsible for their salvation if I make the wrong choice. Whew. So yeah, guys, that's a big one that they use. Also fornication, being labeled as a Jezebel, a strange woman. They do that through patriarchy and misogyny. So that's why a lot of people marry quick because they don't want to be labeled as a Jezebel or as one of these, flimsy kind of like girls that are just living with their boyfriend and they're coming in because they won't take you seriously. You won't advance in the ministry and you'll be seen as a Jezebel. So a lot of people rush into marriages and marrying dusty men because they're fearful that they're going to end up alone and old. And in the cult, by the time you're 25, you're an old maiden. So you got girls that are not married. They're like 27, 28 and they think they're old. Yeah. They do that through fear tactics. They literally rewire your brain to even how you perceive marriage, how you perceive age, how you perceive yourself, how you perceive your value. They take full control over that and they create all of these systems of ranks and positions through fear. That should be on here, actually. Rank and position. They do that because they want to be able to take control, because the cult becomes your life. So they want to be able to say, okay, you're not a pastor again. We're stripping you of that title. No, you're no longer singing. Do you get what I'm trying to say? So you're always fearful. You're always fearful that they're going to take your title. So you're constantly in fight or flight mode, constantly doing whatever it takes to please the cult leader. Financially exploit people as well. We've had accounts from people from NGRM, that's Prophet Anya Khan, Prophetess Cece, where they've coerced members into giving 10 grand, 18,000 pounds of their life savings into like schemes where they said they could make money, and apparently they've lost the money, and members have left. So there's a lot of that happens. A lot of survivors have come forward and said that Prophet Onyeka does use a lot of coercive control through his prophecies, and then at the end he will call you into the office and be saying you should sow this seed so that the bad prophecies that he spoke about in the service won't come to pass. So they do maintain control a lot through the prophecies, and what you'll notice is these prophecies will be very negative, like most or all of the time, and that's because they need to instill fear, like they're the spiritual covering. Do you know what I mean? Like, touch not the Lord's anointed, because they've got some special anointing over their life that can stop, evil, wicked demons from touching you. That's why I don't believe in all of that. You give them power. You give them power depending on what you believe in. So if you believe that he's this big, great, almighty prophet that is a spiritual covering over your life and that he can dictate to you and he can prophesy and change your world and your life, then you're giving him that power more so than God, because that should be the position of God in your life. So you can see, guys, how they use all these fear tactics to control and manipulate you. So this is why it's hard to leave. This is what makes it hard for us to leave when we're trying to leave these mega church cults. And these are all internal factors. So this is why I'm telling you, deprogram your mind, deconstruct, love yourself, because everything they do, when it includes the indoctrination, the thought reform program, the transcendent belief system, all of that is all psychological. They get into your psyche and they rewire your mind. So you've got to go back in, deprogram your mind, deconstruct your faith. You've got to untwist all of the scriptures, and that is how you begin to free your mind, and then you will start to go on a healing journey of self-discovery and knowing thyself. Thank you so much, church cult survivors and just cult survivors in general. I really hope that this model and this video will help you to make informed decisions. I hope it will be life-changing, and I hope it will help people when they leave, because, you know, these church cult members love to pop up on people unannounced to people's houses. So I hope that when you're seeing this model, you'll clearly know the tactics, because these fear tactics are what they're going to use when you leave. So they'll be using these if they come to you unannounced, if you're on the phone. So this can help you with your cult exit strategy to be one step ahead of the game. You're welcome. So anyway, it's been Leah Lauder, your favorite mega church cult survivor. I hope you have a great day, and please check out my other crazy, wacky content on the mad mega church world.